Hello, and today I'm going to take you behind the scenes of the Glen Ellyn boat regatta with the U-Fear. In the case of the U-Fear, the plans for this boat were drawn long in advance, about 3 months to be precise, and as a matter of fact the name was even decided upon and how the boat would look. From there it was a simple short step to actually building the boat, which took place over the course of a month at one of the team members' houses. During this time, we built the boat entirely from scratch out of cardboard, gluing the sheets together with Elmer's glue, and then went on to coat the boat in several layers of paint, after which we went on to the detail work, which involved painting all the names on and making all the decorations for the boat, including the periscope. The next phase in the process involved getting the boat to Lake Ellyn, which in this case involved modifying a trailer so that it would actually hold a 17-foot U-boat. Once we are at the race, we set up camp and set up the boat next to the camp, which involves putting on all the decorations that we have made for it, including the top layers that come off for the race. Then we get to hang out, size up the competition, watch some of the races, and look at all the other cool boats people have made. And then it's time to go down into the pits. During this time our boat is inspected to make sure it keeps to the rules, and then we actually get to go into the water. At this point the boat weighs about 80 pounds and is very easy to move into the water. And now it's time for the first race, and we're off. As you can see, it's very important to get out in front in the lead right from the start. That way you don't get delayed in traffic and your boat doesn't get damaged by a haphazardly oar stroke or anything. Now you can see I sped up the footage for the sake of time. If you do want to watch the full race at its normal speed, there is a video up on my channel, so feel free to watch that too. And there you can see us cross the finish line. It is a really fun race. You can tell the audience really gets into this, and of course we love it and we'll work it. But now back to behind the scenes. We're actually carrying the boat out from the finish line here, and we have to dry the boat off. It is essential to dry the boat off immediately after every race, especially if you're going to have another race after it. So we'll spend as much as 10 to 15 minutes just drying the boat, and drying and drying and drying. And during this time we check and make sure everything is still intact. If something isn't intact, then it's time to bring out the duct tape. And when we duct tape the entire boat seam, in this case we duct taped a lot of the bottom. It was really a soggy boat. So then we're ready and off for our second race. You can see we've got duct tape on the front of the boat, some underneath. And it is critical to patch that before the next race because, as I said, more water will get in the boat if it's not sealed. So we actually went through about 2 rolls of duct tape just during repairs here. Now we'll go back into pits for the second race. And during this race it was interesting because we're only racing one other boat since the other one in our category was disqualified. But our boat, as you can see, we're having trouble lifting it there and putting it in the water. It gained an extra 20 or 30 pounds just from being in the water previously. And right here we get into the boats. Once we're in the water, it's careful to actually make sure you're dry when you're getting in the boats, because if you get water inside the boats, it does cause a lot of damage to our boat, and that's one thing we'd be like to be very careful about. And then they line you up for the second race, and sorry about the cut there. And then we're off, you can see. And I'll get back to these videos later. It's awesome when you come to the race. It's really fun to have a camera there to actually film you. You can tell that it's just, if you can't see it afterwards, it's just not really as much fun. And the video comes in handy for learning what you did wrong or right for the next race or next year. And here we go, crossing the finish line for the last time in the U-Fear. And now right here we are taking the boat out of the water. As you can see, this will be our last time in the boat since we don't have any more races today. And the last time the boat itself will be in the water. It's kind of a shame that we have to get rid of it, but whatever. You can tell we're having a little trouble lifting it here. The boat is probably more than 100 pounds at this point. It trains a lot of weight during the race there. And now we're trying to decide whether to just give it to the forklift now or take it back to the camp for one last photo op. In this case, we decided to take it back to the camp, and you can see us carrying it out right here. Also, if you notice the front of the boat, water is leaking out. That's because this boat did get rather soggy. And all of the cardboard boats will get some water in them from the races just because they are made out of cardboard, and it is hard to waterproof them all the way. You can see how big the boat is here. It's actually 17 feet long. I believe I previously said this, but then we went and you get your awards at the boat race. It's really fun. Take your last pictures with the boat, and then guess what? It's time to destroy it. We like to cut out souvenirs from our boat, and this is what you can see us doing here. These souvenirs often get taken home and, much to the annoyance of our parents, put on the walls or on our dressers for display. Okay, now what we've done here is we've actually cut open part of the bottom of the boat, and the reason for doing this is to check the water damage, see how many layers of cardboard it's penetrated, so that next year we'll have a rough idea of what to do to make it stronger and more water. And now take a good look at the U-Fear, for this is the last time you'll see it. For, as all of our cardboard boats are, after the races, they get scrapped. Now for the cool part, because you can see we can take all the videos from the previous year boats and combine them. You can see here in the top right corner is our boat from last year, the Terror of the Lake. On the two on the left side are the U-Fear from this year's race, and the one in the bottom right is our boat from 3 years ago. And what we like to do by comparing these side by sides, as shown in this footage, is you can actually look at the boats at the same time, where are they on the track. And by looking at that, you can tell, like in the top left corner, we took a very wide turn, and that cost us a lot of time. So how can we change that? Whereas in the bottom left-hand corner, you can see the U-Fear took a very tight turn. So that was good, but it also cost us a lot of time. So you have to weigh the balances. And by looking at all these videos side by side, you can actually tell which boat was the fastest. In this case, it was the U-Fear. But was it really? Because as you continue to look at the videos, you can see that the Terror of the Lake right here in the race at present has just gone around the second buoy, and the U-Fear is in the lead. But now watch as the Terror of the Lake catches up and passes the U-Fear on the last leg there. See, you can learn a lot of interesting things from this footage. For even though the U-Fear was a faster boat, the Terror of the Lake did end up winning. Now, why was that? Well, actually, there's several factors. A lot of it has to do, though, with the fact that we were racing somebody during the last stretch. And when you are racing somebody, you are a lot more likely to be paddling your best. Whereas in the U-Fear, you can see that there's nobody around us, and we're just going across the finish line just to do it. There's nothing pushing us. And as you can see, the last boat here finally crossing the line is the Sabre. And thank you for watching this video. I hope it has been helpful to you in understanding more about the boat races.